Welcome to episode 11, Beyond the Products, and more fitting, we're calling this episode We're Back. Guys, 2025 was a blur for Miranda and I and Chiasson Smoke. It went by really fast with changing the shop, but that isn't holding us back. We got a special guest today, Ryan Miller with PWI. If you don't know what PWI is, Ryan's going to tell us all about it. Ryan, I'm super excited to have you here, man.
It's good to be here, man.
Just to put this out there, we appreciate the sponsorship for our podcast. You were the first business owner that said, "Hey, man, we love what you're doing. We want to support this."
Man, I love that.
Huge thank you for that. And also, we are customers of your product in the shop.
100%. Yeah.
Look, let's start it off. I mean, I know this is cliche, but hey, tell us the story. Where did it start? I know you're a small family fabrication shop, and you grew it to where it's at. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, this atmosphere feels like home for me, man, because I grew up in the welding shop as a kid, you know. So, well, yeah, just want to say you're very, very welcome. But we're delighted. We saw what you guys are doing up here in Wisconsin, and we said, man, we want to be part of what Chiasson's doing. And I mean, we have some we have some employees that are raving fans of Chiasson. So there's some people that were like, we were following them for long before you guys ever discovered them. I'm like, yeah, great. Well, you know, so. A guy named Jason, one of our guys that runs one of our machines, was a massive fan of you guys, been following you for a long time. And so when he saw your product come through our shop, he's like, man, this is freaking cool. So it was great. So yeah, I'm Ryan Miller.
Jason, we say hi. We appreciate it.
Yeah, good name as well, right?
Yeah,
Jason.
love his name.
Yeah, Jason Gingrich is his name. So that was pretty cool. He got one of your gift stoves that you gave us. So
Holler Grills?
Holler Grills, yes.
Awesome.
I call it. The rocket stove throws me off, the Holler Grill. Yeah, and we're using one of those at home as well. So yeah, let me, you want me to go back into some history here a little bit?
From my understanding, you started in a small family welding shop.
100%.
Very similar to
100%. And I don't know how many square foot, what was the square foot of your original shop?
The original shop was a 20 by 30. Now we added on where when it was all said and done, we were 3,500 square feet.
Wow, it's crazy. So that was bigger than what we started in. So my dad was Paul Miller. Him and my mom bought a 2-acre property in 1979, before I was born. I was born in 80. And on that property was a 2,400 square foot post frame building. And my dad was a farm kid and left the family farm, his family farm that he grew up in. And he loved the repair side of the business more than the farm work, right? So he said, I can help farmers fix their stuff, you know, from manure spreaders to combines, whatever that might be. And so he called it Paul's Welding and Repair, and today it's PWI, Paul's Welding Incorporated, and we don't even really go by that name anymore. It's just PWI today. But started doing this stuff in 2,400 square feet, and so we were talking about this yesterday a bit, some of the history. It gets blurry for me, but essentially for the first 2 decades of the business, it took forever. People talk about overnight success. We're not that. It took us decades. You know, we're approaching 50 years here now. So 2 decades of grinding, my dad grinding. We grew up dirt poor, broke, and we never had much. Our only company vehicle for a long time was a 1986 Mazda B2000 stick shift. That's what we drove around, even to make some deliveries and stuff. It was very humble, man. And so basically grew up in the shop there of about 3 or 4 people. I mean, through the 80s, through the 90s, grew to maybe 6 or 7 or 8 people, and was really the business. And in the mid 90s, so we're in Elkhart County, Indiana, which is the RV capital of the world. So I don't know if you guys camp or not, if you and Miranda camp or not, but all the travel trailers and RVs and all that, they're all built there in our backyard. So that's kind of essentially. Those phone calls started coming in the mid to late 90s. Said, hey, can you guys weld a beam in the air for us here? We want to hang a hoist in our fab shop or in our production facility. Could you help us with that? So that's kind of where it started. And so we said, yeah, sure, we can do that. And you guys have the hoist and trolley, right? And like, yeah, we'll weld the beam in. So and then late 90s, early 2000s, that was kind of the deal. We didn't have full-time crews. We would literally go from welding, building a little crane. Early 2000s to fixing a combine the next day in the same shop. Like it was just, and that was a really, really bad mistake on our part. Like we should have probably clarified quicker who we were and where we were heading. But it took us a long time to figure that out.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
We're-
yeah,
We're cracking our head about that too.
Right.
Like, so it's really interesting for me to hear how you would do. Yeah, we would. Your cranes, mezzanines, and fall protection, right?
Yeah, correct.
But you would still throw in that combine.
yeah,
And when I talk to business guys now, and I really want you to touch on this, on your opinion.
yeah,
They tell me all the time, it's like, Jason, you're too scattered. You need to focus on what you're gonna be.
yeah.
And are you going to be the rocket stove guy, the hauler grill guy, the outdoor adventure, gear guy?
Yeah.
Or are you going to fix someone's baler when they pull in and they
Yes.
need a shaft turned or something like that? And how did you?
That is such a.
Did you? Well, it takes away so
It's a
much.
dichotomy. Like, what do you do? You even if you know the right answer,
Right.
you still need to put bread on the table, right? And so
Exactly.
there's this fear of committing to the laser focus. Yeah, I would. Let's go to '08. Let's fast forward to '08. I got married. Some of our story is. Let's go back. I got married in '02 to my wife Jeanette, and we're married. 4 kids. Been married for 20. What is that? 23 years. 24 years this year.
Don't ask me to do math.
Yeah, don't do the math. I'm bad with the math, so we just build stuff. But my mom passed away 2 years later in '04, and so my dad. Part of our story is the word cancer, because my dad also then passed away years later of cancer. So my mom dies of cancer in '04. Dad passed away 8 years ago of cancer as well at 62 years old. My mom was only 49. So that's just when mom passed away, Dad kind of checked out, and I was in my early 20s trying to kind of run things, and didn't know what I was doing, had no clue what I was doing. But my dad was there every day, but he was kind of checked out emotionally a bit. So going into the 2000s, then I'm a pretty aggressive guy. I had big goals, big dreams, but I didn't learn some of the delegation lessons and some of that until the past 8 years after my dad passed away. That's kind of when another big shift in the company happened. But I'll start with the first shift was early to mid 2000s, trying to diversify our company. We actually went the wrong way first. We thought that cranes and mezzanines and fall protection isn't going to keep us busy, so we got to do all kinds of other stuff. So we diversified by never even thought about the idea that we could take these products to the nation. That was just, I was a small-brained person, I guess, but we were like, well, what else do we do in our community? We can, I guess we didn't realize that trucks drive further than, a 1 hour radius. And so we were into commercial construction and serving general contractors, construction beams in homes and houses, and doing all kinds of subcontracting work for other fab shops. If it was steel and welding, Jason, we said yes. Like, sure, we can buy steel and we can weld it. So that's really, we diversified the wrong way. And so what happened in the last decade now, and so is let's fast forward a bit now to maybe 2017. We go forward all the way to that. We were 40, 50 employees in 2017 when my dad passed away. And that's when I kind of woke up and said, man, this is all on me. Like I felt, I know you're the founder, I'm not. You're first generation, I'm second generation. I depended on my dad a lot. He let me lead a lot and let me make decisions, but when he was gone, I was like, I'm going to lose this thing. Like I panicked. And so that's when I really dug into getting help, like some coaching, some leadership, Entre Leadership with Dave Ramsey's organization has helped us tremendously. And others like John Maxwell and other people. But that's when I started getting serious and understanding that I am the lid to this company. And around that time is when we started saying, first of all, Ryan had to learn how to delegate and lead, not be a boss and not run all the sales and run all the operations, run everything, run marketing. I had to let go of things and stop micromanaging. And we decided who we are and what we're doing and where we're going. And so it was just in the last 8 years we decided, who are we and what do we do? And so I called it the big three. What is the big three? We probably could be best in the world. Jim Collins, The Good to Great book. What are we the best of the world at? We think we're the best in the world at building those cranes. We can do it. And manufacturers also need space. They need mezzanines and stairways. We're really good at that as well. And then also safety and fall protection equipment. And those 3 product lines started, ironically, they started in the RV industry, and we were doing those things for our customer base locally. So the second time around, we diversified in a huge way in just to our customer base. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
first time around, we went wide and said, we'll do everything for everybody. The second time around, we said, how do we take this to the nation? How do we take this to Caterpillar and Ford and SpaceX, which is who we're doing work for today, and all the AI infrastructure companies and all that? How do we let them know who we are and what we're doing? Well, it comes around marketing and building a really good website. You know marketing way better than I ever will.
I'm learning, man.
So you guys got to figure it out. Yeah. So that's kind of the second phase of. Does that make some sense, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm going through that second phase right now of trying to become a better leader, and I'm seeing, instead of just the boss, I'm the original founder of this, so I can be a little hard-headed.
Yeah.
I've got a culture that I'm trying to build, but I've never been taught how to build culture.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure this out. I'm pissing people off. It's definitely a hard.
Oh, Jason, it's so hard, man.
And when you talk to the guys, like, to me, you're that guy. You're that guy that I want to sit down with and say, look, man, dude, at what point, I already know now when you decided to start saying no.
Yeah.
And that's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
Because I started to say no.
Yeah.
When a guy comes in and says, man, you got all this equipment, I need you to make this.
Yeah.
Man, I want to, I can't. Because
Yeah.
if I stop that,
Yes.
that hour shuts down this, and then it shuts down this, and then before you know it, shipping department's waiting.
Yeah.
And that's been really hard for me.
Yeah.
And then building the team. You've got over 200 employees, Ryan.
Yeah.
How do you, like, that's what I mean. You keep saying you guys this and that. You are, and that's why I'm just gonna want to sit here and let you talk, because that's been a struggle for me, because there's so many personalities within an organization, and I'm the guy that's supposed to keep everyone happy, keep everyone feeling like they're fulfilled, like they're doing something.
Yeah.
And it's been a challenge for me, man. It really has. So, any little tricks go ahead and let me know.
Man. Well, I do not want you to think that I have the answers, because we are wrestling with it.
Yeah.
There is no cruise control, Jason. I mean, everybody, like all these success stories you hear, the real dudes, the guys who are in it every day, there is no cruise control. There's challenges at every level. So we have 4x the business since my dad passed away 8 years ago. That's in building square footage. We have been under construction for about 8 years consecutively. I mean, we're in the middle of 80,000 square foot right now. Right. We crossed the 200 mark last week. We're trying to get to 225 by July 4th. We need to. We have to. Yeah. It's a challenge. Like, we're in the middle of a massive, I mean, I don't want to say crisis, but pretty close to. We've outsold everything we quoted hit, and more than we thought. And so every season has its new challenge, and I always talk about, I work on what's new and what's broken. There's always those challenges. I mean, I can't be doing sales, I can't be doing marketing, but I do dive deep into the things that I think are broken today, and there are some of those things that are always broken that need some massaging. And then I also look at what's new. I think a leader is always seeing more and before his team. I'm looking out 2 or 3 years and saying what's next.
Yeah.
Space-wise, capacity-wise, product-wise, what are we going to do? So I think everybody. I have friends that ask me, "How do you do it, Ryan? 200 plus employees. Well, how does a guy with 5,000 employees do it?" I mean, I'm chicken feed compared to that. So I don't have 200 employees, Jason. I have 7. So I have 7 direct reports that answer to me every day. I have a great assistant. Micah's with me today, and Micah kind of runs my calendar and my schedule and my email and my cell phone at times. Right. So I can't get it all done, and that's, you can't either, and no leader can. So when I in February of 2018, I'll never forget. Kind of my life changed. I said I'm done. I'm done being a micromanager, and so when I decided that I have to have somebody rowing this boat, the ship has to keep moving without me. Exactly. And so sales have to keep coming in. Let's start with marketing. Let's go in order here. Marketing leads have to be coming in without Ryan. Sales has to be quoting and estimating projects without Ryan. Approving projects that are large at times. I mean, how about jobs that are $1 million? Does Ryan have to see and approve that job before it goes out? Well, I don't anymore. I can't. There was a time where I phased it out to where I trusted my leader, my VP of sales, to say, hey, let's do everything up to $300,000. You're approving. Anything over that, I'm going to approve with you. And so we started with, one sales guy, two sales guys. There's 25 sales guys today. And so, but I can't run that, right? So, and then it goes from, marketing to sales to engineering. So after we sell this crane to you, Jason sends the order in, signs the PO. We're going to get this thing going. Somebody's got to draw this all out, right? And so there's an engineering team with 20 plus people on that team. And I can't be in charge of that. I can't decide what beam size and what column we're going to use. I can't do that. And so they hand it off to operations after that. And again, with that, I can't be hiring and controlling that process and making all the decisions on what laser that we're going to buy. I see a laser running in the background here. We love it. We love that stuff. And we're using all those same machines, but it can't all be on me. So I might be casting the vision saying we're going to need to, we ordered a tube laser and a sheet laser this week. But maybe I'm out in front and saying, I think we're going to need more capacity with what I see coming. And my ops guy goes, absolutely. He's been screaming for that for 2 months, right? And so all the way through this, after the end, the operations team gets it built, we have a team that installs it. Ships it, delivers it first. There's a staging and shipping team. There's a install team, then there's a service team. And so all those things they're bigger than me, Jason. So they're bigger than any human. So it's the secret of delegation and duplicating yourself. And one thing I'll tell you, I learned this a couple of years ago, and that's the idea that not letting people throw monkeys on your desk without solutions. So it's typical for any new leader to bring things to your desk or your workspace, whatever you're doing today, and saying, Jason, the sky's falling. We're all going to die. Whatever that is, it's always a crisis.
Right.
Customer's upset, whatever that might be, and we can't ship it on time. He's very upset, and how are we going to make it? There's always that monkey that's thrown on your desk. And what we do as leaders is we say, all right, I got that. I'll take your monkey, and I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
And maybe because you don't trust them, which is often the case. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our teams to bring things to my desk and say, I got a couple ideas, A, B, or C. I can tell them we're going to be late. B, I thought we could outsource this project. Or C is I have another idea about offering them a different product. We don't have a 6-inch rocket stove on the shelf, but maybe we have a 4-inch, and we're going to give them that at half price or whatever that might be. There's always options, right? So, but making your team members bring you those options, and you're helping them through those, and saying, yeah, I don't like B. You're saying B. I would go to C option. And so hopefully after 3 months, 6 months, a year and a half, they're coming to you with the right solutions. Say, hey, boss, I want to let you know I got this problem. I'm thinking this. Are we good?
Yeah.
So that helps.
You're creating that culture because, and it's something we're trying to do here is like when it's real easy just to come to us, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, what do I do? What do I do? Well, okay. And then I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to take it. But now we try to ask more questions, put more responsibility on them. It's like, what would you do in this situation? Think about it. Just trying to gain that culture. You've built the teams.
Yeah.
You have multiple teams. You have multiple leaders within your business. Yeah. Where do you find the A players? Like that's
$1 million question. Yeah.
It's probably what everyone's asking, right?
It is.
I've noticed. I've never worked with an A, or I've never had an A player until I had an A player.
Oh man.
And when you have an A player, I mean, you want to talk about growth, and I mean, it's
capacity, right?
It changed our business, and now it's like, how do you constantly find this? Are you using Indeed or stuff? Is that your
all those things? Well, you said it. Let's go back to what you said, though, man. That is so good because I call them 7-foot jumpers. So and I learned that last year, and so but this idea that it's just an analogy. I mean, it doesn't. You need a 7-foot jumper to win the Olympics in high jump. You don't need 7 1-foot jumpers. You need 1 7-foot jumper. That's the A player you're referring to.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take the mediocre talent of many. It takes the extraordinary talent of one many times to do that. And it's like, and you need some studs. And you need, and so you're right. We I think for years how do we get this guy for $12 an hour? How do we get this guy for $15 an hour? And go up with the times. How do we get that guy for $21 an hour? Well, what if you'd pay $35 an hour? What would you get then? And we're asking those questions. What does that look like? What does it look to hire an operations manager or a head of shipping, or that literally owns that whole thing. And you're like, you got it, and we're good. And it always takes training, but there's that hunger to learn. So the second part of your point there, your question was, how do we do it? And that's the last 4 years of our story. It's culture. I have put almost everything into culture, Jason. Like, I had a mentor of mine tell me, man, he actually tricked me into a question. He said, what's the best place to work in your town of Napa, Indiana? And we have a lot of manufacturing there. It's a small town, but we have a lot of surrounding towns there, and we're heavy manufacturing. So what's the best place to work in this town? And we had lunch that day, and I go, we're standing out there on the street there, and I was like, I don't know, and I rattled off like 4 or 5 names. I would say boom, 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 and I named some of my customers that we do work for. They're great people, great, and much bigger than us. And he said, that's pathetic. Why isn't it you? And I go, yeah. And it was that combined with 4 other things, and I kind of went all in on like, how do we have cars lined up out on the highway wanting to get a job here, wanting to get in here. And we have a backlog of references. And so it's about culture. And so I wrote this 5-year transformation goal. We're about 4 years into that 5-year goal of just transforming our culture into having world-class people in every role, in every position, in every department. I want the guy running the laser, I want the guy running the weld, the guy putting the bead down to have a great culture and attitude fit. And so that took firing some people. We do not tolerate gossip and drama, zero. Like talking back. There's situations where we've had we have an all group chat where there's a lot of camaraderie. Okay, so there's 200 plus people on a Telegram group chat. Okay, imagine that nightmare. That could
WeChat is what do we use, Miranda? We
yeah,
use something like that too. I get it.
Yeah, there's WhatsApp, WeChat. We're using Telegram currently. I think we're switching to a Microsoft Teams here shortly. But the idea is that if there's a place to vent, they got it in our team. So we have terminated people for stuff like that, where they're throwing attitude out there, and so our core value is around one of our 10 core values is around gossip, and we talk about passing negatives up the chain and then positives all around. So if there's a problem, we're not squashing that. We want to know about it. You can always take it up the chain to your supervisor and beyond your supervisor, but don't take it to your buddy Hank over here who's whining about the employee benefits as well. That helps nobody. It kills the culture. So we've let go of some really good people who were good at their role, but had terrible poisonous attitude. And so I'm telling you, we're not perfect, but we are a good place to work, and so. We then tell our team of I think last night it was 208. Before I went home from the office last night, I think it was 208. And I'm watching that number because I want to see 225 like next week if I could. And so hiring is in full swing. But we also made a deal with all of our hires. We give $1,000 cash to anybody who brings in a reference. We talk about donkeys versus thoroughbreds. We want thoroughbreds, not donkeys, not stubborn mules. We want people that can run the race with us, that are heading the same direction as we are. And so if you don't bring your drunk brother-in-law in here that can't hold a job. You're working beside him. You want him here? No, you don't. So we pay $1,000. It's the number we come up with. There's other people that do less or more, but it's worth that to us. If you bring a reference in, and I would say, I don't know. I should ask Austin at HR what percentage are references, but it's high. Half are Indeed and LinkedIn and all those things, bringing people in. We do ads everywhere, social media, and I'd say close to half are people bringing friends, people they go to church with, family. We have a lot of family, multiple, like 3 and 4 family groups: father, son, son-in-law, daughter, like a daughter's in sales, a son's welding, the dad's in HR or whatever. And so. Some people really hate that because when there's drama in the family, there's
or one sick or one vacation, that they both have to leave or all have to leave,
it causes some issues, but it's certainly we're a family business, right? And so we've been able to walk through some really dicey situations by just talking through it. Say, look, I know that this is tough. I know that your brother is being terminated today. Just so you know, we just ushered him out of the building. You're not him. That is no joke happened, okay?
Yep.
We need you here, and you're a stud, and we value you. We wish him the best. We're not mad at him, but it wasn't going to fit. It wasn't going to fit. So normally they get it. Normally they're like, yeah, I saw it. I saw it coming, So
We are just, 2018 is technically when we started the business. I started making custom spurs in the shop. But
so quick, Jason.
to this day, we still don't have a mission statement, and we really just figured out our core values.
Yeah.
And if you read our core values, it may seem like almost like a parent, but our core values are so important to who we are and what we stand for outside of this. This brand is more than rocket stoves and Holler grills, and talking to business guys like yourself has gotten me to the point of understanding if there's no mission, then where are we going?
Yeah.
And why would an A player want to join our team? And he's like, well, who's driving the ship?
Amen, man.
Well, I'm driving it. Where are we going? Oh, I don't know.
The bus is leaving. I don't know where we're heading yet. Yeah.
And once I started pulling myself out of the weeds, and I didn't want to put the welding machine down because I was the welder.
Yeah.
But
So
once
hard.
I started pulling myself out the weeds, making sure I get the right guys in the right position and that they can do it and they understand the culture and what we stand for, we've started to see a change. And I really think in the next year or so, if I can dial that in and become a better leader, we're gonna grow.
You are.
All this is fun. None of this matters without sales.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to make sales, and marketing has been something. We've built the team. You've got the culture. We're in the process of how do you keep the sales coming in? How do you keep rolling with that? For us, we always used organic social. We're running into a point now where organic social is becoming, we're running into burnout because it depends so much on Miranda and I showing up every day.
It does.
We recently hired someone else to help take some of that off of our plate. When it comes to marketing, you've got to get the sales. How do you approach it? I mean, paid ads are working, and we're doubling down on it. You know, so.
Well, our story is similar. Can I go back into the past? Because you hit on something that I'm so passionate about, Jason. I'm a sales guy. I was the very first sales guy in our company.
Right.
I'll tell you the story how that happened, if you don't mind. It's because it really I do a class for all of our new sales hires, or I do 1 3-hour session with all the new hires, and part of their onboarding is I call it the art of selling. And I'm not the best sales guy in the world, but it's teaching the importance of sales. I tell them, like, hey, news flash here, don't tell anybody else in the company, you're the most important people here. Like, we don't have a business without sales coming in. Like what you said, you're right, man. It starts with marketing, which we've just learned in the last 5 years. That's bringing leads in. But 20 years ago, Jason, we're at 8 people in the company total at that time. Okay, I had just gotten married. And this is one of my early lessons. And we had this guy walk in from, I think, Boston. And to this day, I can't remember what the company name was because it's blurry. He walks in and he goes, hey, we're going to have 2 consultants come in next week, and we're going to change your company. We're going to transform your business. We're going to help you guys grow, and made all these big promises. And he's an East Coast dude and pretty, a little arrogant. And for some reason, my dad and I looked at him and said, yeah, let's do this. And he made a big promise about not charging us more than we had to pay in our bank account, and they're going to dig into our QuickBooks, and they're going to, all that. So it's a great story because I learned so much that week. We didn't see it for a decade later, no joke. But they're there all next week. They give us an invoice on Friday afternoon of the next week for $25,000. No joke, Jason. We couldn't pay the bill. We didn't have that much in our account. We were furious. Called our bank. They were furious. Like, what are you guys doing? And so they helped us get a loan or extend our terms or whatever, line of credit, whatever it was back in the day. And so this is the mindset that I was in. I was angry. I was done with these guys. They didn't help us at all. They had a lot of really pathetic ideas. I was a little arrogant as well. Remember, I was not a leader yet. I was a welding boss, and you're gonna love this because you said I'm the welder. I'm the guy, and so I'm walking out through the shop. During those years. Now, the shop would have been somewhere around 8,000 square foot. We had grown a little bit. We were 8,000 square foot. just by the way, I talked about our 80,000 square foot this year. Just want to insert that we're going to be at 325,000 square foot by Labor Day. So it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
But in those days, 8 people, about 8,000 square feet. We're walking through the shop there that Friday afternoon. He goes, "Hey Ryan, I'm looking at what you guys are doing. You're doing about $1 million in revenue. That's what we were doing." He said, "That's not that bad. You're actually not that profitable on what you're building. I mean, you're making 8%, 10%. That's not laughable. It's not bad." I said, "Sure." He said, "But what you need is you need sales. You're missing sales." I said, he said, "Ryan, I'm telling you, like, you're the sales guy." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not the sales guy." He said, "Oh, you are." I said, "I run the shop. That's what I do here." And he goes, "You're wrong." He said, "You need to buy an F-150, throw some decals on it, and go hit the community and sell your products, sell your services to the community. And when the phone rings, get out there and see them that day, the next day, and give them a quote the day after for this crane." And I said, "Well, we don't need to do that." I said, "When the phone rings, and we're not missing any sales." I mean, I was arrogant and defensive to him because I was kind of frustrated with him already. And I said, "When the phone rings, I put the welder, take my hook, literally. I walked over to the wall, and when my sister wasn't answering the phone, I would be the backup, or she would page me or whatever, and I'd go out there and get the phone call. And sometimes even a big customer, I would take the phone call, scratch some notes on a legal pad there, and go back to work. And that night, then I would work on it, right?" So he said, "You're wrong." He said, "You're the sales guy. Who could take your place running this shop?" And I said, "Man, there's only one dude that I know. He only works here in the winters. He's got a summer job where he makes really good money. And in the winters, he's slow, so he works for us in the winter. His name is Paul." It was not there's a lot of Pauls. This was not my dad, Paul, different Paul. And but I was learning the lesson of sales. And so he said, "Well, call him." I said, "All right, I'll call him. I kind of want to get him out of there." He said, "No." He said, "Call him right now." I said, "All right, I'll call him right now." Picked up my phone. I called Paul and I said, "Paul, what's it going to take to get you in here full time? Like, quit your summer gig, whatever that is." And I think the number he gave me was 65 grand salary. He said, I'll do it. I'd love to work for you, Ryan. I'd love to build something with you here, but I need 65. And that was more than I was making.
Right.
And so so back to how do you hire A players? And the whole goal here was to get sales coming in. So Paul comes in. Paul agrees to. We said, "What's it going to take? Let's do it." I hired him at $65,000 a year. We brought him in there. I did exactly what the guy said. Bought the F-150, put PWI, pathetic marketing logos. We just did it all over the truck. And I started driving around, meeting customers, seeing people. And Paul ran the shop, and I was able to leave and do quotes that day. Jason, I'm not kidding you. We tripled our business in about a year, in a year and a half or 2 years. I said, "Man, this is working. I should hire another sales guy." And we went from 3 to 6 in the next year or two. And so it took me about a decade. I'm not kidding. It was probably 2011 or 12 before I looked back and said, that's crazy. Like, that was the best advice I've ever gotten in my life.
Yeah.
But it taught me the importance of putting energy and efforts towards sales.
Yep.
And you don't have a business without it.
Yep.
And so we've followed that same model. Now we have several sales teams. We have a regional team with 10 guys. We have a national team that travels outside the 4-state area, and they're actually out selling. We're doing a lot more work nationally than we even are regionally at this time. So I'll never go back. But that idea that you don't have a business without sales it's paramount. And so many people, especially 3, 5, 7, 10-man shops, they miss it. And they were like, "We'll just wait for the phone to ring," and that's bad thinking. So
we have a small business group a school program that we run, and it is for these smaller shops. Probably, I'd say the majority of the guys in our shop are probably $5 million in revenue or less, right? Yeah. And that is the biggest mindset thing that I see them, especially that 1-man to that 5-man shop. It's like, okay, what do your sales look like? What's your marketing look like?
Yeah.
Well, I got to add in the paper, and it's so hard to say, man, welding is your passion. Welding is what brought you in there. You love building. It's the same thing that worked for me. But when we can get you to understand that the marketing side of this is more important, it's more important for you, and it's more important for your team, because remember, you're taking care of them.
Amen.
And the only way to get A players is you've got to put a package together just as well as your marketing package for selling your product.
You're right.
And you can't do that without sales. And it's a challenge, because how do you teach that? Because I didn't know it. I just showed up on social media and started, hey guys, my name's Jason. This is my rocket stove, you know. But it worked out. We understand branding a little bit better now than we did
You guys do.
back then, and not only for the sales side of it, but the community part of it is what's really fun for me.
Yeah.
Hosting our annual, hosting our barbecue competition, our
so
chili
cool.
cook-off, all of that stuff. That's all paid for because of sales, and it's all. We're getting back to, if I could get all these small shop guys that love to weld,
Yes.
to love marketing as much as they love welding, they would see a difference
Do
in
you
their
think
shop.
they actually feel like they're being lazy in some ways? Like, my job is to build stuff.
Yep.
Is that a mindset?
1,000%, because I have that mindset. I walk in this shop as the owner of this business. We've got 15 employees
Yeah.
in here, and I feel like I'll walk back here and I'll see Luke and Brian, all these guys welding, and I'm like, man, they have no respect for me because I walk around with a clean shirt on,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel,
That is
because they don't think I can do
that
it.
is so real, man. I totally know what you mean by that.
And it's like, man, I wish they could understand. And I think they do, and that goes back to culture. And you have to make them understand, like, this is what we're doing. I can't do that. I need to do this because I got to keep this coming in. And
If you want that rocket stove to build tomorrow,
Yeah.
I need the clean shirt to make sure that's happening. I mean, that's really
Yep.
you're guaranteeing their
Yep.
livelihood.
And then that leads it into the next conversation, which I think is the hardest part about all of this, is the work-life balance
Oh, dude.
question. So I'm going to tell you my work-life balance deal, and a lot of people disagree with me for whatever reason it is, and I think Miranda agrees with this. Is like, we're family first, but business goal oriented. Like,
Yeah.
family is first to me,
Yeah.
but the business is everything. And I may miss my daughter's softball game for it's, and I know that's not important to other people, but for someone that's made it to where you're at in your business, it's maybe a little easier now to establish work-life balance. But man, when you're in the middle of the grind and
Yeah.
you're trying to build it, and you're trying to find A players, you're trying to establish culture,
Yeah.
you're trying to keep the bills paid because payrolls due.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you manage work-life balance?
Man, that's a loaded question. It's the most loaded question you've asked because we're in the thick of it right now too. I told you, man, whatever stress you're feeling, I'm feeling it, and it's hard. I'll start with this. Faith is a really big deal to me, so I would throw in God, family, business. My faith in God is paramount to everything. It's a really big deal to us. We don't believe we'd be where we're at without God's hand in our business. So we give Him. One of our core values is generosity and this idea that we live with open hands because every opportunity is a gift from God. That's how we see it. We pray for favor from our customers, and let me tell you right now, He's given it. So I was like, Lord, thank you, but wow,
Yeah,
spread it out a little bit more, God. So faith's a really big deal. But between family and business, I don't really like the work-life balance term. I don't like it. Because you have the haters out there who have no freaking clue what we're talking about right now. They don't. I mean, your audience does because they're building stuff a lot. They're a lot of your fab shop friends that you're working with and helping and coaching and all that. They get it. The guys that work the 9 to 5, they would call us workaholics. They would call us unbalanced, all that stuff. But I truly feel called to do what I'm doing and to build something great. And to be able to help things in the community and all that we're able to do because we're financially profitable, right? And so I look at it as a calling. And I kind of have to just look the other way from the haters sometimes that say, man, Ryan, you work too much. It's crazy. Why'd you miss that softball game, Ryan? And that's never the goal.
Right.
But what I've kind of adopted is to be where my feet are at. Like right now today, I'm here. I'm here with you. I want to be all here.
Yeah.
My phone can wait. I want to be present in the situation that I'm in today and not feel guilty that I'm not back at the office right now, helping my sales team or helping operations, whatever it might be. They all need help right now with what's going on. But I want to be present with where I'm at and forget the work-life balance thing, and I'm going to do my best to build this. There's going to be seasons. And there's seasons where I'm gonna go on vacation. I took a month off with my family on an RV trip. We had a fantastic time. I took them. That was a Western trip a couple years ago. We had a great time. There's weekends where I'm going for a 4-day weekend. I'm with my family, and we're together. There's times where I don't get home till 7 o'clock at night. I miss dinner because I'm at work, and it had to get done. I mean, and so they're both extremely important, and I've just kind of like shed the guilt thing. Like I'm going to do what I need to do in both areas of my life.
Yeah.
If it's my daughter's birthday, actually tomorrow is my daughter's birthday. She's turning 17 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kate, right? So I'm going to make sure that wherever I'm at tomorrow, it's a busy day tomorrow, meetings all day tomorrow, but I'm going to make sure that when we're done, I told her, where do you want to go for dinner tomorrow night? Let's go out for dinner. If you want me to grill steaks at home, we'll do that. You want to go out to a nice restaurant, invite 3 or 4 of your friends with you, we'll go out and we'll hang out. I will be there for that. I'm not going to miss that one. But a normal Tuesday night in May, I might miss dinner sometimes, and I may miss a game or two. I did. My son was in basketball. I didn't get to all of them. I got to most of them.
Yep.
And my son gets it. There's no hurt feelings there. So it's this idea that stop. Let's stop. And me first. Let's stop with this guilt complex of my kids are growing. I'm missing their childhood. I like the idea of living life with them. I know your kids are over here sometimes with you guys as well.
Oh yeah.
I grew up in the shop. My kids are coming over there with me. I was just over there with them last Saturday. My 8-year-old, my youngest is 8. So he'll hop in the truck with me. We'll go over there and do a walkthrough on a Saturday, and I'm getting my head around stuff. He'll ride a golf cart for a while and have fun. And so I think it works. And building what we're trying to build, Jason, is not for the faint of heart, and it's going to take a ton of effort.
Yep.
That doesn't always feel balanced as some of the I don't want to call them haters. Some of the haters think is unbalanced at times.
We get it all the time. Like people, I think Miranda would call me a workaholic, but at one point my workaholic was in the shop and just welding. I'd weld till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And now my workaholic is different because I'm always thinking about marketing and sales and how can we. Yeah. So I'm constantly working on that, and we have to make decisions, and that's why it goes back to we're family first because my family is everything, but this business is our bread. You know, is our. It is. And if the family understands it, Miranda gets it, and I think our kids understand it as well, because like you said, they live here. A lot of times that this is, for me, this is my only opportunity. There's nothing else unless I go get
There's no other ship coming, right?
Get an old job back. And it's really interesting of how much bigger it is, and I'm listening to you talk. And how much bigger it is. And I'm going to bring up John King. I bring up John King in all of my...
Really? Wow. John's awesome, man.
And the reason is because he was one of the first guys I saw when I first kind of started getting on social media. And I want to say this. He's one of the first guys I saw that, wow, look at this guy's shop and look at this stuff. And we've had dinner with him at FabTech and listening to talk. Very similar to the way you talk. So there's a likeness in successful business people that I meet all over. Every time I meet people, the way they talk, their culture, their ideas on business, work-life balance, their ideas on leading. So it's all very interesting for me. Look, I want to wrap this up talking a little bit more about PWI. Oh. Let's talk about your bridge cranes. You're in how many states now?
Well, we're doing work in all states. I mean, we're traveling all the time, but we're working on setting up branches. That's because of our commitment to going direct to the customer.
Yep.
No dealers. We're manufacturers direct, right? So every crane, everything you see here at your shop, and Jason's bought 3 cranes from us. We're very grateful for that, Jason.
No, thank you. I mean, these are great products.
Yeah, thank you.
They have been a life changer in this shop, especially loading these tables. And your DIY setup, man, I want it. Like all my friends that run plasma tables and they're in their small shops, like, guys, don't invest in that tractor with the bucket. Invest in this. It's good.
Tractor with the bucket. I love it. No, that's the other option, right? Yes.
I mean, we've gotten hurt trying to load our tables like that, you know, and it's a game changer. And so the product is great.
Yeah, thank you for that. You're referring to we call it the Aero Work Cell crane now.
Yeah.
And got, I don't know, 25 different sizes, configurations. You can go at 8 by 12, and they're very economical. It's the only, I mean, cranes are cranes normally, but we're pretty proud of that design because it really works for it's the aero work cell crane, meaning it's for small work cells or small fab shops that need just a little crane, and they're all, I mean, they're starting at $5,000 up to 10, and that covers most of the sizes. So pretty incredible price range. So
I'm going to throw this in there. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
You may not know this, but the handheld on that one there.
Yeah.
There's that little electronic sensor, so when you grab it, it sees that there's a hand there. It's a safety feature.
Yeah.
It went out last week on us. It quit working. But hear me out.
Yeah.
We called your guys, so you don't even know about this.
I don't know about this.
Nope.
Don't freak me out.
Nope. We called them and said, hey man, this little crane. He did a little diagnostic over the phone. He had no idea who we were, by the way. So this wasn't like, better. He did a diagnostic over the phone. He said, yep, I know exactly what it is. He says, can you take it off and send it to me? I'll get you another one coming back out there. That same week, we had another one here. So shout out. I forget your buddy's name. I forget the guy.
Was it tech support, like Kyle D, or was it a guy?
I would have to talk to Chris because Chris was the guy that did the diagnostic. Yeah. But that's support. Yeah. And I can't say that for every system I have in this shop as far as when it comes to support. And that's a big deal because that crane is so important for safety because we got to load those 75-pound rocket stoves.
It is. Yeah.
But the 2-ton is what I have in this shop. That's our big crane.
Yeah.
And we get into the whole size thing whenever we're talking. What's the biggest crane you guys have ever done, and how? Like, what do you have this idea of like world record? I'm going to install the biggest crane in the country.
Well, I would say no, because I don't think that's our bread and butter. Okay. I don't think it's our sweet spot. There's companies that are building a lot bigger cranes than we are. In the steel mill world, it's a great question. I mean, selfishly, I love it, man. I love building big stuff, right? Yeah. Selfishly, I love that, but we're not really in the steel mill 300-ton world. We're just not in that world. It's a whole different world. We do some work for SDI and Nucor, both in the steel mill world, but not in that world. We're doing other stuff that's more like offline stuff for them. So we always say that we're manufacturers who are serving manufacturers. So you are our ideal customer. Yeah. I mean, you're it. Like, so guys that are building stuff every day, and it could be in the plastics industry, but people who are manufacturing something is our ideal customer. They're always lifting stuff. They always need more space with a mezzanine. Their mezzanines come with stairways and freight elevators and all that. But you go back to what you said. The service thing. That's the big deal. So you mentioned that, and so we have built a tech support team, which is, I assume he talked to Kyle or Carlos or one of their team members there. As we've sold around the country, this is kind of what happened. Okay, we diversified. We said, hey, we diversified our customer base. Okay, when the RV industry locally there is up and down, or construction industry is up and down, things we're working with there locally. There's other businesses around industries that are booming, like AI right now, and like data centers are going crazy, right? So it kind of rides. It helps us smooth the wave out a bit, right? So we said we're going to go national, and we're going to commit to that by investing in a lot of travel and having our sales guys travel to customers and getting there. Well, it's going to take a lot of effort to do that. So the first step of that was like building this national sales team and actually splitting them out to where their only customer base is outside of our 4-state area. Okay, regional, they're driving F-150s all over the area there, Ohio and Illinois, and they're driving to see customers even up this direction and towards Wisconsin, right? So that's working great. But we built that other team to diversify them and take care of only the leads coming in nationally. And pretty big deal in 2024, that team for the first time ever outsold what the regional team did, which is a big win for us, right? Because it means we're truly diversified. But then the service thing came up. Then we were like, and I'm going to answer your question, but I'm getting there the long way around here.
I love it.
So I will tell you this, Jason. We're manufacturers first, so we like building stuff. We like welding. We like building cranes. We like building mezzanines, and that's what So we're manufacturers first, and we kind of had this mindset where we're going to build cranes, and oh crap, they break sometimes. There's a lot of competitors we have that have service teams, and oh yeah, they build some cranes too. I have good friends in the business, and they're making buku bucks in service, and I can learn things from them. I've learned things from them on the service side. We have never been that way. We have only built the service team to take care of our own customers. That's all we've ever done. We're never pursuing contracts for our competitors' cranes. We don't even want to service their cranes. That's not our business plan at all. It's about servicing them. So as we started growing this customer base around the country, we started saying there's hot spots. And there's hot spots in South Carolina. We just launched a branch in South Carolina this year. There's a hot spot in Pennsylvania. We just bought a building literally on Friday last week. We bought a building in Pennsylvania, and we're launching a branch there. We were interviewing people there, and those are the hot spots. We're going to keep going with that. We're going to say there's one in South Carolina, Pennsylvania. It might be Florida, Texas, Phoenix. We're looking at different areas, possibly St. Louis, possibly Ohio, and we're just targeting the next areas. We're always arguing about where that next spot needs to be, but we're working on number 3 and number 4 like in the coming months.
Yeah.
And the idea there is all around sales and service. So how much more magical is it if there's guys who can drive and visit a customer an hour and a half or 2 hours away or 10 minutes away, and how much more magical is it when the crane breaks down? What if you had a guy, an hour and a half away from here, and we had a branch up here in Wisconsin? He'd drive over here and take care of you. It'd be great.
Yeah.
So there's that balance. We also have a lot of customers like you who have told me, they're like, if you just put in a tech support team and just have a dude that I can call. I actually had a friend, really good customer of mine from Florida, and this doesn't happen very often. He texted me yesterday. He said, man, we have a crane that's not working. And he's a friend of mine. He's a close friend of mine. He said, and he's bought a ton of cranes. And I said, James, sure, I'll help you out. He said, I don't know who to call. And I'm sure that his team members would have known who to call, but James is my buddy, so I said, I'll get you the number. I texted him the number. He texted to his guy, and we got him on the phone with the right guy, and they're good, right? So some of my customers, like you, are cool with just getting on the phone and solving the problem. You were willing to change that part yourself. There's other bigger customers like Caterpillar. They're not ever going to do that.
Right.
They're going to say, we want your guys there. Or we're going on a big deal in Texas right now where they made it very clear we're putting a whole bunch of gantry cranes in their plant. They made it very clear they do not want to service their own cranes. They want a plan from us to service it after the fact. So that is why we're working on the branches. So PBI employees, team members can be close in at least the hot spots around the country to take care of our customers in a better way.
Yeah, you're not focused on making the biggest crane. You're building the bigger structure.
A service network.
Yeah.
I didn't answer that question for you on the biggest crane. We are in the process of building the biggest crane we've ever built right now.
Yeah.
4 of them actually, to be clear. They're shipping to somewhere in South Georgia. So it's the biggest crane we've ever built before is 50-ton capacity in a shorter span. Several times we've done 50-tonners. And then the longest crane is up to 115 foot
Span.
The ones we're shipping right now, the same crane. So it's different to shift a 115 footer at 10 ton. 115 foot at 50 tons a bigger deal. These are 150 foot by 60 ton. So it's both the longest span and the biggest capacity in the same cranes. And so that's a big deal. And it doesn't change much. We know how to build them. I mean, but it's shipping's a challenge. But that's the big one. Shipping's a challenge. I mean, we're talking about police escorts. It's a really big deal. So we're learning how to cost effectively do all that stuff as well. Yeah. So, but just to be clear, there we're not currently we're into serving manufacturers, people who are building something, not the nuclear plants or steel mills. We're not really in that world.
Yeah, got you. So I can sit here and talk to you all day, and I know I can't, but I do have one final question I want to ask you. Are you implementing AI in your business?
Oh my goodness, man. That's yes.
100%, right?
Dude, I had a friend of mine really push this last fall. Yeah. He said, man, Ryan, do not miss this. Do not miss it, and it'll only get used as much as you lead with it. And so I started following certain people online. Dan Martell is one of them that I follow on LinkedIn. Dan is, I think he's leading the charge as far as influencers who are just teaching very simple tricks on it. So I started sending my team videos about what he's doing and started saying, hey, look, I want to pay for premium. For anybody on the team who wants premium ChatGPT, We just changed that, not changed it. We also added Claude now as well. And I said, like, we're all in.
Yeah.
And so I said, like, I can't be the one dreaming up all the tools we're going to build here, but I've challenged all the leaders. My 7 leaders are using it, like my CFO. The stuff he's putting out for financial reports, my VP of sales, unbelievable the spreadsheets he's building to make cheat sheets for the sales guys, operations and in steel order lists, incredible. And then we're going to go into like agent stuff now soon. Marketing is using it to build websites and stuff. So across the company, 100%, my wife's scared to death of it. So she won't download the app on her phone, and I get it. Some people are like, this is, they're going to take over, and AI is taking over, and I get there's some fear there. I feel like it's the Google of the 90s. I mean, it's going to, is there evil that could come out of AI? Absolutely. Is there evil on Google? Absolutely there is.
Right. 100%.
And I'm not blaming Google, but is there evil on the World Wide Web? Well, of course there is. So we're embracing it because I think we're going to get left behind if we don't. I talked to a friend last night, my friend Sean. He says they're talking to who's Elon Musk's robotics company. It's Tesla's robotics company, Optronics or whatever it's called. They're working on some humanoid robots that they're going to implement in their. I'm looking at your CNC mill. He's got a 30. Can't remember how big his plant is. It's a massive plant, 100,000 square foot or whatever of just CNC mills and lathes. And they're working on implementing 3 or 4 of those in their plant.
Yeah.
And so I'm intrigued with the robotic thing as well and how AI could play into that because we cannot, even with a great culture, Jason, we're struggling to keep up training and hiring. So if there's things we can use robots and cobots and automation for, we're embracing it.
100%. I mean, it is, even for us, it's all the technical stuff, like you were saying, the financial, and being able to get all that stuff organized and laid out, and the math. We're using it a lot. We're using it a lot on the marketing side as well. We're fighting that organic AI, that look.
Yeah.
But
yes.
we're definitely implementing it, and I agree with you. I think if people aren't beginning to utilize it, they're gonna miss out on it. Like I said earlier, I could sit here and talk to you all day, Ryan, but we're gonna have to cut this short. Appreciate you coming out.
Man.
PWI, y'all check it out. Great company. Ryan, the founder, the CEO himself, is here, and it's been.
My
great
dad was the
having-
founder. I'm second generation, but that's close.
Yeah, I missed that. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But